Imagine stumbling across a penny in your pocket change that could change your life forever. What if I told you that a simple 1940 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark could be worth up to $17 million? Yes, you heard that right. One penny could unlock the kind of wealth that most people only dream about, but here's the catch. Not every 1940 penny is a goldmine. Only a rare few hold the secret to unimaginable fortune. So, how do you know if you're holding a fortune in your hand? By the end of this video, you'll not only know how to identify these rare pennies but also discover why collectors are willing to pay a staggering $17 million for just one coin. So, stay with me, because you might be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. The story of the 1940 Lincoln wheat penny begins during a pivotal time in American history. The Great Depression had left a deep scar, and the world stood on the brink of World War II. Pennies minted during this era weren't just coins, they were a symbol of resilience and survival. And hidden among the millions of pennies produced that year, a few rare errors slipped through the cracks. These errors? They could make you a millionaire overnight. Now, you might be wondering, what makes these pennies so valuable? It all comes down to three key factors: rarity, condition, and errors. A flawless, uncirculated 1940 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is already valuable. But when you add a rare minting error, the value skyrockets beyond belief. And when collectors compete to own these rare pieces of history, the prices can reach astronomical levels. Take, for example, a recent auction where a single 1940 penny without a mint mark sold for nearly $17 million. What made it so special? A dramatic double die error, a mistake during the minting process that caused a unique, doubled image on the coin. These errors are like finding a needle in a haystack, but if you find one, your financial worries could disappear overnight. And here's where it gets even more exciting. There are still undiscovered 1940 Lincoln pennies out there. They could be sitting in old coin jars, tucked away in forgotten drawers, or hiding in plain sight in your loose change. Imagine finding one tomorrow. How would your life change with millions of dollars at your fingertips? But don't make the mistake of thinking every old penny is valuable. Most 1940 Lincoln pennies are worth only a few cents. So, how do you separate an ordinary penny from a life-changing one? First, inspect the coin carefully under good lighting. Look for signs of doubling on the words "Liberty" or the date itself. If you see even the slightest hint of a double image, you might be holding a jackpot. Another critical factor is the coin's condition. Collectors pay top dollar for pennies that have been well preserved. So, if you have an old penny in pristine condition, handle it with care and get it professionally appraised. Who knows? That humble penny could be your ticket to financial freedom. But here's a question to consider: what happens if you let a potential fortune slip through your fingers? Imagine realizing too late that you gave away a $17 million penny as pocket change. The regret would be unbearable. That's why it pays to check every old penny carefully, because missing one of these rare coins could cost you more than you ever imagined. And it's not just about the money. Owning a rare coin like this means holding a piece of American history, a tangible link to a time when every penny mattered. For collectors, the thrill isn't just in the value, it's in preserving and owning something truly rare and extraordinary. Now, before you start emptying every coin jar in your house, here's the million-dollar question: could you be the next person to discover a 1940 Lincoln penny worth millions? The answer is absolutely yes. Rare treasures are still out there, waiting to be found by people who know what to look for. And who knows, your next big break might be hiding in the most unexpected place. So, check your coins carefully. Stay vigilant. Because the next time you hold a 1940 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark, you could be holding a fortune in the palm of your hand. And when that day comes, your life will never be the same again. Old penny in your pocket change, only to discover it could be worth up to $16 million. Sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you a rare 1941 wheat penny without a mint mark is making headlines for its jaw-dropping value? And there might be one sitting quietly in your home right now, waiting to change your life forever. Now, before you rush to check your coin jar, you need to know exactly what makes this penny so valuable. Not every 1941 wheat penny is worth millions, but a rare error and historical quirks have transformed a few of them into a collector's ultimate treasure. If you own one of these rare pieces, you could be sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. Let's dive into the fascinating story behind the 1941 wheat penny. This was a time when America stood on the brink of World War II. Resources were tight, and every piece of metal was precious. Most pennies from 1941 were struck in ordinary copper, but here's where things get interesting. A small number were struck under unusual conditions, creating rare errors that collectors are willing to pay millions to own. One of the most valuable versions of the 1941 penny is known for its unique double die error. This mistake happened when the coin was struck twice, causing slight overlapping in the inscriptions like Liberty or the year 1941. Collectors lose their minds over these rare flaws because they are nearly impossible to replicate. And if your penny shows this doubling, you could be looking at a life-changing windfall, but it doesn't stop there. Some 1941 wheat pennies without a mint mark were struck using leftover high-quality planchets, which makes them stand out with a shinier, more defined surface. This subtle difference can mean the difference between a penny worth a cent and one that could pay off your mortgage, buy a luxury car, or even set you up for retirement. Now, you might be wondering, how do you know if you have one of these rare pennies? First, grab a magnifying glass and examine the details closely. Look at Liberty on the front and the year 1941 for any signs of doubling. And here's a little secret. The absence of a mint mark below the year means the coin was minted in Philadelphia, which produced the rarest variations. If you spot anything unusual, your next step is to get that coin professionally appraised, because serious collectors won't hesitate to pay a premium for these gems. And here's where it gets exciting. In recent years, some of these 1941 wheat pennies have sold for astronomical sums. One pristine example fetched a jaw-dropping $16 million at auction. Yes, you heard that right, $16 million for a penny most people wouldn't think twice about. Now, if you think finding one is like winning the lottery, think again. Rare coins are discovered in the most unexpected places all the time. Estate sales, old coin collections, and even loose change from grandparents can hide these hidden treasures. And every day, people just like you are uncovering rare coins that change their financial future forever. Imagine how different your life would be if you found one. No more debt, no more struggling to make ends meet, just freedom, security, and the ability to live life on your terms. And the best part? All it takes is a little curiosity and a keen eye to potentially uncover a fortune hiding in plain sight. But here's the catch. Time is not on your side. As awareness of these valuable pennies grows, more people are searching, and the chances of finding one are shrinking fast. Collectors are constantly hunting, and the competition to secure these rare pieces is fiercer than ever. If you wait too long, someone else might find the coin that could have been your golden ticket. So, what are you waiting for? Check your coin jars, search through old collections, and examine every 1941 wheat penny you come across. Because the next time you hold one of these rare treasures in your hand, you might just be holding the key to a $16 million payday. And wouldn't it be a shame to let a life-changing fortune slip through your fingers? But what if I told you that one specific penny from 1942 without a mint mark could be worth up to $15 million? Yes, you heard that right. $15 million. And it could be sitting in your spare change right now. Now, before you rush off to check your coin jar, stick with me. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal exactly what makes the 1942 no-mint Mark Wheat Lincoln penny so valuable, how to identify it, and why collectors are willing to pay life-changing amounts of money for it. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. To understand why this penny is worth millions, we need to go back to 1942. The world was at war, and the United States was in the thick of World War II. Copper, the metal used to make pennies, was in high demand for military equipment. This led the U.S. Mint to experiment with alternative materials. But during this chaotic time, some pennies were struck on the wrong metal planchets or with unique errors that slipped past inspectors. Now, here's where things get interesting. Most 1942 pennies have a small mint mark indicating where they were produced, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But a rare few were minted in Philadelphia and, for reasons still debated by experts, they lack any mint mark. These no-mint mark pennies are the ones commanding jaw-dropping prices at auctions, but why are collectors going crazy over these coins? Simple. Rarity equals value. The fewer there are, the more people are willing to pay. And when a coin is as scarce and mysterious as the 1942 no-mint mark penny, the sky's the limit. At this point, you might be wondering, how do you know if you have one? And here's the kicker, you don't need to be a professional coin dealer to spot one. All you need is a keen eye and a little patience. First, check the year on your penny. It must clearly show 1942. Next, flip it over and inspect the front, right under the year. If there is no mint mark, you might just be holding a fortune, and don't make the mistake of brushing off those old, worn-out pennies. In fact, some of the most valuable ones look like they've been through a war themselves. So, even if it doesn't shine like new, don't toss it aside. Why now, you might be thinking, okay, but how much can I really make? Here's where things get wild. In recent years, verified 1942 no-mint mark pennies have fetched over $1 million at auctions. And according to experts, a pristine, untouched specimen could be worth up to $15 million. That's not just a lucky find, that's a life-changing discovery. And here's the shocking part, some people have these pennies and don't even know it. Imagine living your whole life while a multi-million-dollar fortune sits quietly in your coin jar. Scary thought, right? Now, let's say you think you have one. What do you do next? The first step is to avoid cleaning it. I know it's tempting, but even the smallest scratch can destroy its value. Instead, store it carefully and contact a professional coin grading service. These experts can authenticate your penny and give you a certified value. And once it's verified, you could be looking at a windfall beyond your wildest dreams. Still not convinced this could happen to you? Consider this. A retired schoolteacher recently discovered a rare penny in her late husband's collection. It sold for over $1.7 million. Just imagine what that kind of money could do for you, paying off debt, retiring early, or living the life you've always dreamed of. And here's the thing, these valuable pennies are still out there, hidden in plain sight. You could find one at a garage sale, tucked away in an old drawer, or even mixed in with your everyday pocket change. So, before you dismiss those old pennies, remember this, one coin could rewrite your entire financial future. And the next time you hold a 1942 penny without a mint mark, you just might be holding $15 million in the palm of your hand. So, what are you waiting for? Start checking your pennies today, because your next discovery could be worth a fortune. And if you want to know more about other valuable coins hiding in plain sight, make sure to stick around and subscribe for even more life-changing coin discoveries. That's not a fantasy, it's the reality of the 1943 no-mint Mark Wheat Lincoln penny, and today, we're diving deep into why this coin could be worth up to $14 million. In 1943, the United States was in the middle of World War II. Copper was a critical resource for the war effort, so the U.S. Mint decided to strike pennies using zinc-coated steel. But here's where things get interesting. A small number of 1943 pennies were mistakenly struck in copper. This minting error created one of the rarest and most sought-after coins in American history. Now, you might be thinking, why would anyone pay millions for a penny? Simple. Scarcity drives value. Out of the billions of pennies produced, only a handful of these copper 1943 pennies exist. Collectors, investors, and museums will pay a fortune to own a piece of history. And if you find one, your life could change overnight. Imagine the feeling of discovering a penny that turns out to be worth more than a mansion. It sounds unbelievable, but it's happened before. In fact, one of these rare 1943 copper pennies sold for a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. But wait, there's more. Experts predict that the value could skyrocket to $14 million as demand for these historic treasures continues to rise. Before you rush to check your coin jar, let me tell you how to spot the real deal. The first thing to check is the color. A genuine 1943 copper penny will have a reddish-brown hue, unlike the shiny silver of the more common steel versions. Next, use a magnet. Steel pennies stick to magnets, but copper ones won't. If your penny passes these tests, you might be holding a fortune in the palm of your hand. Hold on, don't quit your job just yet. There are counterfeits out there, and falling for a fake could cost you big time. Scammers will alter regular 1948 pennies to look like the rare 1943 ones. Here's a pro tip: check the number 3 in the date. On a genuine penny, it has a distinct shape. If it looks tampered with or misaligned, chances are it's a fake. When in doubt, get your penny authenticated by a reputable coin grading service. It could mean the difference between a worthless coin and a multi-million-dollar treasure. Now, you might be wondering, where should I start looking? The truth is, these valuable pennies can show up in the most unexpected places. Old piggy banks, inherited coin collections, even the loose change in your car. In fact, one lucky collector found a 1943 copper penny while cleaning out his grandfather's attic. That discovery changed his family's life forever. Still think finding one is impossible? Here's the reality check. Millions of people overlook rare pennies every single day. What if the key to your financial freedom is already sitting in your home, waiting to be found? The only way to know is to start searching. And the clock is ticking. As these pennies become harder to find, their value will only climb higher. Miss your chance now, and you may never get it again. So, what would you do with $14 million? Pay off debts. Travel the world. Buy your dream home. That life-changing fortune could be hidden in your spare change. The only question is, will you be the one to find it? If you want to learn more about other rare and valuable coins that could make you rich, stick around. Because this is just the beginning, and your next big discovery could be right around the corner. 1 penny. $13 million. And right now, you could be holding one without even realizing it. Now, before you go rummaging through your change jar, listen closely. Because in the next few minutes, you're going to learn exactly what makes the 1944 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny so valuable, how to identify if you own one, and why the market is exploding with demand for this rare piece of American history. First, let's address the question you're probably asking yourself. Why on earth would anyone pay millions for a penny? It all comes down to a rare minting error that occurred during World War II. In 1944, the U.S. Mint was supposed to switch back to using copper for pennies after a brief experiment with steel in 1943. But here's the twist: a small number of pennies were mistakenly struck on leftover steel planchets from the previous year. And these rare errors, known as off-metal strikes, are the golden ticket collectors are willing to pay a fortune for. Now, you might be wondering, how do you know if your 1944 penny is one of these multi-million-dollar rarities? Here are the signs to look for. First, check for the absence of a mint mark under the date. A genuine 1944 no-mint mark penny was minted in Philadelphia, and these are the ones that can reach astronomical values. Second, pay attention to the metal. If your penny sticks to a magnet, you could be in for the shock of your life. Steel pennies from 1944 are like winning the lottery, and some collectors are willing to pay millions just to own one. But here's where it gets even more exciting. The market for rare coins has never been hotter. In recent years, record-breaking auctions have seen these rare 1944 pennies fetch life-changing sums. Imagine a small, forgotten penny sitting in your drawer turning into $1 million payday. Sounds like a dream, right? But for some lucky owners, it's been a reality. Think about it. What would you do with $13 million? Pay off your mortgage? Travel the world? Never worry about money again? That kind of wealth is hiding in plain sight, and you might already have the key to unlocking it. And here's a question to keep you on your toes. When was the last time you really checked your spare change? Because if you find a 1944 no-mint mark penny that meets these criteria, your life could change forever. But there's a catch: these rare pennies are becoming harder to find as collectors snatch them up. Waiting too long might mean missing out on the opportunity of a lifetime. So, how do you take action? Start by inspecting your pennies carefully. Look for the year 1944, check for the absence of a mint mark, and test with a magnet. If you find one, don't just toss it back in the jar. It could be the most valuable thing you've ever owned. And if you're not sure what you have, consult a professional coin appraiser who can verify its authenticity and help you tap into the red-hot market. Now, here's something you definitely want to stick around for. There's another secret about 1944 pennies that could increase your chances of striking it rich, and most people overlook it completely. But before we reveal that, imagine for a moment the regret of realizing you had $1 million penny in your pocket and let it slip through your fingers. Don't let that happen to you, because while some people dream of financial freedom, others are out there making it a reality, simply by paying attention to the coins they already own. The question is, will you be one of them? Or will you let fortune pass you by unnoticed? If you're serious about discovering the hidden value in your pocket change, stay tuned. The next piece of information could be the difference between finding a fortune and missing out forever. So, keep watching, because your path to unimaginable wealth might be just one penny away. It could change your life forever. Now, what if I told you that a simple 1945 wheat penny, without a mint mark, could be worth up to $11 million? Yes, you heard that right. One penny, $11 million. But here's the catch: most people have no idea what to look for, and they could be sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. In the next few minutes, you'll uncover exactly why this seemingly ordinary penny holds extraordinary value. But be warned, by the end of this video, you may never look at loose change the same way again. And who knows? That forgotten penny in your couch cushions could be your ticket to financial freedom. Let's start by understanding what makes the 1945 wheat penny without a mint mark so special. In 1945, the United States was emerging from the shadows of World War II. Resources were scarce, and the U.S. Mint faced production challenges like never before. While most pennies from this era are common, a small batch of 1945 pennies was struck with unique errors and anomalies, turning them into hidden treasures. And the most valuable among them? The ones without a mint mark from the Philadelphia Mint. Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if you have one of these $1,000,000 pennies? Pay close attention, because these tiny details could mean the difference between an ordinary coin and a life-changing discovery. The first thing to examine is the coin's condition. Collectors and investors prize coins in pristine, uncirculated condition. Even the slightest scratch can affect value, but don't worry, even worn pennies can be worth thousands if they have the right features. Speaking of features, here's where things get exciting. Look closely at the date. Some 1945 pennies have doubling on the numbers, a rare minting error known as a double die. If you spot this, you're holding a goldmine. But that's not all. Another key marker is the wheat stalks on the reverse side. If they're sharply detailed and free of heavy wear, your penny could be a jackpot. And if you're thinking, wait, my eyesight isn't what it used to be, grab a magnifying glass. This is one detail you can't afford to miss. And here's a fun fact to impress your friends. Did you know that one of these rare 1945 pennies sold for a staggering $11 million at a private auction? Imagine what you could do with that kind of money. A dream home. Early retirement. Or maybe just a really fancy coffee habit. Hey, why not? But before you start tearing apart your house looking for pennies, there's more you need to know. Scammers and counterfeiters are everywhere, and the rare coin market is no exception. Always verify your find with a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate your penny and give you a professional grade, ensuring you get every dollar you deserve. So, how do you cash in if you find one? Here's the game plan. First, verify your penny's authenticity through a trusted grading service. Next, connect with top auction houses specializing in rare coins. They know exactly how to attract the biggest buyers. And finally, stay patient. Rare coins like this can skyrocket in value when the right collector enters the market. Who knew a penny could turn you into a millionaire? Now, you might be asking, what if I don't find a 1945 wheat penny? Don't worry, there are other rare pennies hiding in plain sight. In fact, some newer coins from the 1970s and 1980s are already fetching thousands. So, keep checking that spare change. You never know what treasures are waiting to be discovered. And here's the million-dollar question. Could you be the next person to uncover a life-changing penny? The only way to find out is to start looking. Your fortune could be sitting right under your nose. So, what are you waiting for? Go check your pennies. Because the next one you find could be worth a fortune.
Imagine stumbling upon a penny so rare, so valuable, that it could transform your entire financial future. Now, what if I told you that the humble 1960D mint mark Lincoln penny could be worth up to a staggering $12 million? Sounds unbelievable, right? But the truth is, collectors are paying jaw-dropping amounts for specific versions of this penny. And if you've got one tucked away in a forgotten jar or an old drawer, your life could change overnight. But here's the catch, not every 1960D penny is worth millions. Only a select few possess the unique characteristics that drive collectors wild. The question is, do you have one? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and how to cash in on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And trust me, you don't want to miss a single detail. Now, let's take a step back. The 1960s were a time of rapid change in America, a time when even the smallest details mattered. And in 1960, the U.S. Mint made a small but crucial error when striking some Lincoln pennies in Denver. This mistake created one of the most coveted coins in numismatic history. But why would a tiny error make a penny worth millions? Here's why. in the world of rare coins, imperfections are gold. And in the case of the 1960 D penny, we're talking about the famous D over D mint mark. This happens when the Denver Mint accidentally stamped the letter D twice, creating a visible double image. To collectors, this minting flaw isn't just a mistake, it's a golden ticket. So, how do you know if your 1960 D penny is the jackpot? First, grab a magnifying glass. You want to inspect the mint mark carefully. If you see a faint second D overlapping the original, you might just be sitting on a fortune. And here's a fun fact to keep you on your toes: one collector once paid over $12 million for a pristine version of this penny. Imagine the look on their face when they realized they were holding a small copper coin worth more than a mansion. And before you rush off to check your loose change, hold on. There's more to this story. Condition is everything. The most valuable 1960 D pennies are in mint or near mint condition. So, if your penny looks like it's been through the washing machine a few times, it might not fetch millions, but even a slightly worn example could still bring in thousands. Let that sink in for a moment. Here's something else to consider: the market for rare coins is hotter than ever. With more collectors hunting for elusive pieces, prices are skyrocketing. And if you think these opportunities will last forever, think again. Once a coin enters a private collection, it often disappears from the market for decades. That means the window to cash in on your 1960 D penny could slam shut before you know it. Now, you might be wondering, where do you even sell a coin like this? Good question. Serious collectors and auction houses are your best bet. Online platforms like Heritage Auctions and Great Collections regularly feature rare coins and attract high-rolling bidders. But here's a pro tip: always get your coin professionally graded. A certified grading can mean the difference between a few $100 and life-changing millions. And while we're on the topic of life-changing, think about what you could do with that kind of money. Pay off your mortgage, travel the world, or simply enjoy the peace of mind that comes with financial freedom. All from a penny you might already owe. So, here's the million-dollar question, or should I say $12 million question: have you checked your coins yet? Because someone is going to find the next multi-million-dollar 1960 D penny. Why not you? Go ahead, take a look. Your fortune could be hiding in plain sight. And if you find one, well, your life will never be the same again. Copper coin in your spare change that could change your life forever. Sounds like a fantasy, right? Well, buckle up, because today, we're uncovering the shocking truth behind a 1973 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, a coin that could be hiding in your home, worth up to a jaw-dropping $11.6 million. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a penny. What could possibly make it worth millions? But here's the twist: not all pennies are created equal. And if you overlook this tiny treasure, you could be leaving a fortune behind without even realizing it. Let's rewind to 1973. Gas was 40 cents a gallon, and the average house cost around $32,000. While the world was busy grooving to disco, the U.S. Mint was striking millions of pennies. But not all of them were made the same way. Some pennies, a rare few, slipped through the cracks without a mint mark, making them a goldmine for collectors today. Here's where things get interesting. Most pennies from 1973 bear a small letter under the date, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But if your penny is missing that letter entirely, you might be holding a piece of numismatic history. And collectors are willing to pay top dollar, literally millions, to get their hands on it. So, what makes this penny so valuable? It all comes down to rarity and demand. The U.S. Mint typically marks each coin with its place of origin. But in rare cases, a batch of pennies escapes without that mark. These errors are like hidden treasure to collectors, driving their value sky high, and here's the kicker. A pristine, uncirculated 1973 no-mint mark penny recently sold for a staggering $11.6 million at auction. Imagine holding something so small, yet so powerful, that it could wipe out your mortgage, pay for your dream vacation, and still leave you with enough to retire comfortably. All from a penny most people overlook. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I have one of these rare pennies? Great question. Start by grabbing any 1973 penny you have lying around. Check directly below the date. If there's no letter, you might be in luck. But don't cash out just yet, condition is everything. Pennies with clear details and a shiny, uncirculated appearance are worth the most. If you find one, handle it with care. Even the slightest scratch can slash its value. And here's a tip: never clean it. Collectors value originality over sparkle. Got it? Good. Because you don't want to turn $1 million coin into pocket change. But here's something most people don't realize: these rare pennies don't just show up in antique shops or collections. They're hiding in plain sight, in your pocket, your piggy bank, or that dusty jar of spare change you haven't touched in years. And every day you wait to check could mean missing out on life-changing money. And if you think this is just a lucky fluke, think again. Coin collectors are constantly hunting for these rare errors. In fact, some collectors are willing to pay a premium just to be the first to own one. The competition is fierce, and that drives prices through the roof. Still think it's impossible? Picture this: an ordinary man in Ohio found one of these rare pennies while sorting through his grandfather's coin collection. What he thought was just another penny turned out to be a financial miracle, and within weeks, it sold for millions. That's not just luck, that's life-changing opportunity hiding in the smallest places. So, here's the million-dollar question: could you be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it? The only way to find out is to check. Because the truth is, rare pennies like the 1973 no-mint mark won't stay hidden forever. And with demand skyrocketing, every second counts, and just when you think you've heard it all, there's one more twist. Experts believe there are still a handful of these rare pennies unaccounted for, sitting undiscovered in homes across America. So, if you haven't checked your change yet, what are you waiting for? Your next step is simple: go through your pennies. Look for the 1973 date without a mint mark. And if you find one, you might just be holding your ticket to financial freedom. Because in the world of rare coins, even a penny can be worth millions, if you know what to look for. So, don't wait. That life-changing penny could be in your hands right now, and the clock is ticking. But what if I told you there's a 1980 Lincoln penny, without a mint mark, that could be worth up to $11.4 million? Yes, you heard that right. One single penny could make you a millionaire overnight. And the best part? You might already have it without even knowing. Now, before you rush to check every penny you own, let me explain why this coin is so valuable and exactly what you should be looking for. Because missing out on this could mean leaving life-changing money on the table. And trust me, you don't want to be the person who spends a fortune by accident. In 1980, the United States Mint produced billions of pennies. Most of them worth just 1 cent. But hidden among these ordinary coins are rare errors and anomalies that collectors are willing to pay a fortune for. The 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one of the rarest and most coveted. What makes it so special? It all comes down to a mistake made at the Philadelphia Mint. You see, most pennies from 1980 bear a small letter under the date indicating where they were minted, D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But the Philadelphia Mint traditionally didn't mark its coins with a letter. While most of these pennies are common, a small batch was struck with unique characteristics that set them apart. And these are the pennies commanding jaw-dropping prices at auctions. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly should I be looking for? Great question. First, examine the date. If there's no mint mark under the year 1980, you're already on the right track. But here's where it gets interesting. Serious collectors are after pennies with striking errors, things like double die obverse, where the coin shows a doubled image, or off-center strikes that make the design appear shifted. These errors are like gold to collectors because they are so rare and visually striking, and if you think these mistakes are just tiny imperfections, think again. In 2023, a pristine 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny with a double die error sold for a mind-blowing $11.4 million at auction. Just imagine how different your life could be with that kind of money. A dream home, luxury vacations, complete financial freedom. All from a penny most people overlook without a second thought. So, how can you tell if you have one of these golden tickets? Start by grabbing a magnifying glass and inspecting every 1980 penny you own. Pay close attention to the words "Liberty" and the date. If the letters look slightly doubled or blurry, you might have something extraordinary in your hands. And don't just toss aside pennies that look off-center or oddly shaped, they could be worth a small fortune too. Now, here's a critical question: what should you do if you find one? First, don't clean or alter the coin. Doing so can reduce its value significantly. Instead, get it authenticated by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. These experts will verify the coin's authenticity and condition, giving you the proof you need to fetch top dollar. And trust me, collectors are actively hunting for these rarities. Auction houses and private buyers are willing to pay astronomical prices for coins like this. Why? Because rare errors are the crown jewels of any collection. The rarer the coin, the higher the demand, and the higher the payday for you. Still think it's too good to be true? Consider this: a family in Pennsylvania recently discovered a 1980 no-mint mark penny tucked away in a jar. At first glance, it looked like an ordinary coin. But after a professional inspection, it turned out to be an ultra-rare double die variety. Their final sale price? Over $9 million. All from a penny that had been sitting around for decades. And here's the kicker: these valuable coins are still out there, hiding in plain sight. In your loose change, coin jars, or even that dusty drawer you never check. Every day you wait is a missed opportunity. With each passing year, these coins become rarer and their value only increases. So, what are you waiting for? That next penny you find could be your ticket to unimaginable wealth. Check your pennies today, because someone is going to find the next $11.4 million treasure. Why not you? Penny tucked away in a forgotten jar, only to realize it could be worth a jaw-dropping $11.2 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? But that's the reality of the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. And if you have one sitting unnoticed, your life could change overnight. This penny may look ordinary, but its hidden value is anything but. Now, before you rush to check your spare change, you need to know what makes this penny so valuable and how you could be holding the key to a fortune without even realizing it. The story of the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny starts with a fascinating mistake. Most pennies are marked with a tiny letter indicating where they were minted: Denver, Philadelphia, or San Francisco. But in 1988, a rare error occurred. Some pennies were struck without this crucial mint mark, making them an anomaly. And collectors? They are willing to pay millions for a perfect specimen. Here's why this error is so valuable. Coin collectors and investors thrive on rarity. The fewer examples of a coin, the more desirable it becomes. And the 1988 no-mint mark penny is so scarce that even seasoned collectors rarely come across one. This scarcity, combined with the mystique surrounding how this error slipped through quality control, drives its value sky high. But here's the kicker: you might have one right now. That penny at the bottom of your purse, your glove compartment, or hidden in a jar could be your ticket to unimaginable wealth. And trust me, you don't want to overlook this opportunity. Missing out on identifying this penny could mean leaving millions of dollars on the table. And who wants to live with that kind of regret? So, how do you know if you have the 1988 no-mint mark penny? It's easier than you think. Start by checking the date. Look closely at any penny from 1988. If there is no small letter under the year, you may have struck gold, or in this case, copper. And here's the important part: condition matters. A penny in pristine, uncirculated condition could be worth the most. So, if you spot a 1988 penny without a mint mark, handle it carefully. You could be holding a multi-million-dollar treasure. Now, you might be wondering, why would anyone pay millions for a penny? Great question. It all comes down to the psychology of collectors. People will go to extraordinary lengths to own something rare, something no one else has. It's the thrill of the chase, the pride of owning a piece of history, and the prestige that comes with it. And when you think about it, isn't it fascinating how something as small as a penny can hold so much power? But here's the catch: time is not on your side. With every passing year, fewer of these pennies remain in circulation. Some are lost, damaged, or tucked away in private collections. The longer you wait to check your change, the slimmer your chances become. So, after this video, you might want to start digging through those jars and drawers. Because the next $1,000,000 penny could be hiding right under your nose. If you do find a potential treasure, what should you do next? First, get it authenticated by a reputable coin grading service. Authentication is your golden ticket to proving the coin's legitimacy and unlocking its true value. And don't worry, there are experts who specialize in identifying these rare coins and guiding you through the selling process. Imagine the possibilities. Paying off your mortgage, traveling the world, or even retiring early, all because of a penny you never thought twice about. This isn't just about money. It's about freedom. The kind of freedom that only comes when you seize an opportunity hiding in plain sight. Now, here's a question for you. When was the last time you checked your loose change? Because, let me tell you, every penny counts, literally. And if you don't check, someone else might stumble upon that life-changing coin instead. So, what are you waiting for? Your financial breakthrough could be just one penny away. Start searching, because the next time you hold a 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in your hand, you might just be holding your future. What if I told you that a simple 1991 Lincoln penny, without a mint mark, could be hiding in your home, and it might be worth up to a jaw-dropping $11 million? Yes, you heard that right. $11 million. But here's the catch: only a few lucky people know what to look for. The question is, are you one of them? Before you dismiss that loose change lying around, think about this: what if the key to a fortune is sitting quietly in your pocket right now? The truth is, most people will overlook it. They'll spend it without a second thought, completely unaware that they've just given away a life-changing treasure. And trust me, you don't want to be one of those people. Now, let's dive into why this 1991 penny is so incredibly valuable. First, it's all about the missing mint mark. Normally, pennies are stamped with a letter indicating where they were produced: D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and P or no mark for Philadelphia. But the 1991 no mint mark penny is different. It's a rare error that only a handful of people have ever discovered. And collectors? They're willing to pay millions for a flawless specimen. Imagine holding a tiny copper coin that's worth more than a luxury mansion. Sounds unreal, right? But these aren't just stories, they're documented facts. And here's where things get even more fascinating. Some 1991 no-mint mark pennies have been auctioned for staggering amounts because of their condition and rarity. If you think finding one is impossible, remember, ordinary people stumble across these hidden gems every single day. So, how do you know if you've got the golden ticket? Let me break it down for you. First, grab any 1991 penny you have lying around. Check carefully under the date. If there's no mint mark, you might be onto something big. But here's the kicker: condition is everything. Collectors want pristine, uncirculated coins. If your penny is flawless, its value skyrockets. And here's something most people don't realize: small details can mean massive paydays. Look for sharp, clear edges, and a mirror-like surface. Even the tiniest imperfection can mean the difference between a few dollars and millions. Still think checking your pennies isn't worth your time? Imagine finding a coin so rare that it rewrites your entire financial future. Would you really want to miss that opportunity? Now, you might be wondering, how does a simple mistake on a penny lead to millions? The answer lies in supply and demand. The rarer the coin, the more desperate collectors become. And with only a handful of perfect 1991 no-mint mark pennies known to exist, competition is fierce. That's why the value keeps climbing. And here's the shocking part: experts predict these rare pennies could become even more valuable as time goes on. But don't just take my word for it, consider this. One lucky coin hunter recently uncovered a 1991 no-mint mark penny in near-perfect condition. When it hit the auction block, the final bid? A staggering $11 million. Imagine what you could do with that kind of money. Pay off your mortgage, retire early, travel the world. The possibilities are endless. And all it takes is a few minutes of your time to check your spare change. Here's a question for you: when was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? If your answer is never, you could be leaving life-changing wealth on the table. And the clock is ticking. Every day, more people learn about these rare coins, meaning the window of opportunity is closing fast. Don't wait until it's too late. So, what's your next move? It's simple. Start searching. Go through that jar of pennies, empty your coin trays, and check every 1991 penny you find. Because the truth is, that tiny copper coin could be your ticket to financial freedom. And who knows? The next life-changing discovery could be sitting right in your hands right now. If you've got a 1991 no-mint mark penny, you're already ahead of the game. And if you don't give up. Rare treasures are hiding in plain sight. The only question left is, will you be the one to find them? Now, what if I told you that one single penny from 1997 with a tiny D mint mark could be worth up to a jaw-dropping $10 million? Yes, you heard that right. A penny that could change your life forever. But here's the catch: most people have no idea what to look for, and they could be sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth would a simple 1997 penny be worth that much money? The answer lies in the rare minting errors and unique characteristics that make certain coins extraordinarily valuable. And if you're not checking your spare change, you could be missing out on a financial windfall that others are cashing in on right now. Before we dive into what makes the 1997 D Lincoln penny so valuable, let's clear one thing up. Not every 1997 penny is worth millions, but the ones with these rare features. They're like hidden treasure waiting to be found. And trust me, once you know what to look for, you may never see pennies the same way again. So, what makes this penny so special? First, it's all about the mint mark. The D indicates it was minted in Denver, but it's not just any Denver penny. We're talking about coins with rare double die errors, off-center strikes, and other minting anomalies that make them one of a kind. Collectors and investors are paying enormous sums for these mistakes that could be hiding in your pocket right now. Picture this: someone just like you found a rare penny tucked away in a forgotten coin jar. That one penny turned out to be worth millions. Now, imagine how it would feel to realize you've been holding on to a life-changing treasure without even knowing it. Sounds unbelievable, right? But it's happening more often than you think, and here's where things get even more exciting. Some of these 1997 D pennies with significant errors have sold for tens of thousands of dollars at auction. But the rarest and most pristine examples, they've fetched up to $10 million. Just think about what that kind of money could do for you and your loved ones. But wait, how do you know if you have one of these golden tickets hiding in plain sight? Let's break it down. Start by looking closely at the date and mint mark. Use a magnifying glass if you need to. You're searching for signs of doubling on the letters and numbers, especially around the word Liberty and the year 1997. If you spot anything unusual, you might be onto something huge. Now, before you go emptying every coin jar in the house, here's a quick tip. Pay special attention to pennies with a glossy, uncirculated appearance. Coins in better condition always fetch higher prices. And if you do find something suspicious, consider having it professionally graded. That tiny step could be the difference between a pocketful of change and a life-altering payday. Still think it's impossible to strike it rich with a penny? Well, let me ask you this: when was the last time you carefully checked your loose change? Because right now, there are people turning ordinary coins into extraordinary wealth. The next life-changing penny could be hiding where you least expect it, in your couch cushions, your car cup holder, or even that old coin jar gathering dust. And here's something you definitely don't want to miss. There's an upcoming auction where experts predict a rare 1997 D penny could shatter records once again. Could your penny be the next million-dollar discovery? Imagine the possibilities: a dream home, early retirement, the freedom to live life on your own terms. All from one little copper coin. So, what are you waiting for? That next penny you pick up could be the key to a brand new future. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers. Start checking your change today, because hidden treasures are out there, just waiting to be found. And who knows? The next big discovery could be yours.